morning, everyone. I'm Marty Adams, the General Manager and Chief Engineer at your LA Department of Water and Power, and I'd like to thank you all for coming this morning to help us celebrate the receiving of a significant amount of money from the state of California to help us further our water conservation efforts here in the city of LA. Today we're here to announce that LADWP has been awarded slightly over $19 million from the California Department of Water Resources to fund two very important projects that will help us with drought relief in the future. We are honored to have Chris Chernell here from the Department of Water Resources, as well as Jonathan Bishop from the State Water Resources Control Board today, came down from Sacramento. At LADWP, we're committed to maximizing the impact of this grant and excited about the changes it'll bring to the communities that need it most, particularly our underserved communities here in the city. As you'll hear from our speakers, part of the majority of the money will be used to fund free turf replacement for lawns in Los Angeles in disadvantaged communities, and the rest will be used to fund a recycled water pipeline, which will increase the recycled water use and a seawater barrier to protect local groundwater resources, both of those relieving the need for more imported water from north. I'd like to thank our customers who are hosting us here today, Raina Rodriguez and Mike Greatrix. We are standing in their beautiful front yard that was replaced about a year ago as part of a program where they actually volunteered to have this an educational outdoor classroom for people learning to re-landscape, and they received their landscape as part of that program. None of these programs would be successful without the partnership of community-based organizations here in Los Angeles who help us to roll these out, along with our other rebate and drought-resistant programs. And I'd like to recognize Scope, who is here with us today, one of those very valuable and important partners. Also like to recognize Anselmo Collins, the head of our Department of Water System, runs the water system in Los Angeles, and his staff, who did a lot of work to make today happen and make it a reality. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce the leader of the great city of Los Angeles, the Honorable Mayor Karen Bass.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Good morning, and thank you, Marty, for your leadership of the nation's largest Department of Water and Power. As we stand together to celebrate this incredible award, I want to thank Rena and Mike and Charlie, their dog, for graciously hosting us in front of their home. I also want to thank Councilmember McCosker for welcoming us to his district, and our LADWP leaders for joining us today. DWP Manager Marty Adams and the Board President Cynthia McLean-Hill. Last but not least, I want to offer a very special thank you to our state partners from the California Department of Water Resources and the California State Water Resources Control Board for not only joining us today, but for your partnership and for trusting Los Angeles with this amazing funding opportunity. We promise that we will make great use of these resources. Today, I stand before you not just with the news, but with a call for action for every resident of Los Angeles. Our city is at the forefront of climate adaptation, and we have the opportunity to shape our future together. As we all know, droughts are not new to Los Angeles, and although this year we experienced some of the wettest conditions we have seen in quite some time, prior years were notably marked by severe drought. So while we can't stand here and tell you when the next drought is around the corner, what we can do is to ask you to prepare. And fortunately, we're not making this ask empty-handed. The LADWP, with the support of the California Department of Water Resources, has secured $19 million to launch two transformative drought relief projects. These initiatives are not just about sustainability, they're also about community, resilience, equity, and our shared responsibility to the environment. Firstly, the Landscape and Irrigation Direct Install Program, backed by over $14 million, is an invitation to our residents, especially those in underserved communities. Launching in 2024, this program offers you a chance to replace water-intensive lawns with beautiful drought-tolerant landscapes at no personal cost. I urge every eligible resident to embrace this opportunity. Let's transform our neighborhoods together, conserving water and saving on bills. With potential water savings of 77 million gallons annually, we can collectively sustain more than 1,000 LA households every year. The Dominguez Gap Seawater Intrusion Barrier Project, with its $4.5 million of funding, is a testament to our city's innovative spirit. By 2025, this initiative will provide an additional 3.5 million gallons of advanced treated recycled water every day. But its success depends on our collective commitment to preserving our drinking water supplies and reducing wastewater discharge. So, to every Angelino listening today, I ask you, if you are eligible, participate in the Landscape and Irrigation Direct Install Program. Let's make Los Angeles a model of urban water conservation. Stay informed about our water resources and support initiatives like the Dominguez Gap Project that prioritizes sustainable water use. Share these programs with your neighbors, family, friends. Encourage them to participate and make informed choices. Los Angeles is not just a city, we are a community. Together with shared vision and collective action, we can ensure a resilient, equitable, and sustainable future for all. Let's rise to the occasion and make Los Angeles a beacon of hope in the face of climate change. Thank you, and once again, I want to thank the family for inviting us here, and everybody can see how beautiful their front yard is. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Next, we will have our check presentation. Our Deputy Director of California Department of Water Resources, Chris Chernell, will present the check. And following that, we'll have one of those very large checks. We're trying to cash those still. And after that, we'll hear from the council member of the Great 1-5, Tim McCosker. So.
$19 million. And we're starting in the 1-5.
Thank you very much. My name is Tim McCosker. I'm the councilman of the 1-5. I proudly represent San Pedro and Wilmington and Harbor City and Watts and the Harbor Gateway. And we're right here in the Harbor Gateway, a beautiful, beautiful community. I want to thank Raina and Mike for welcoming us to their front yard. I also want to thank them for welcoming. You might have noticed we see the bees and butterflies and dragonflies, showing that these drought-tolerant yards, these beautiful native plants, are the things that invite back those insects that we need so much. They're so vital. We don't even pay attention to them, but they're so vital to sort of for helping the planet, sort of curing the planet of the ills that we have brought to it. The only thing that could be greater than having this garden here is to have one there and there and there and there. And Los Angeles is committed, and we appreciate the state of California for this wonderful gift. One of the great success stories in Los Angeles is water conservation. We have grown and grown and grown and grown, and in fact, we have done a pretty great job of making sure that we're not using more water. But the reward for great work is more work. We have a lot of work to do. We know that with climate change and with the likelihood of recurring droughts and the growth of this great city, we know that we have to do more. And this is one way. This is one great way, and every single resident in the city of Los Angeles can do it. And what we're doing here today is making sure that communities that sometimes get overlooked for opportunities for solar panels or for drought-tolerant plants or for coming up with ways to make sure that we can preserve our future, that we are not overlooking any community. And I'm so, so proud to be standing with the mayor, and I'm so honored that we are here in the North Gateway, a beautiful community, as you can see, and a beautiful community that is committed to our planet. So thank you very much. We will steward this money well. Right after this press conference, we're going to go cash it and get to work. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Now we'd like to hear from the man with the money, our close partner from the California Department of Water Resources, Chris Chernell.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the introduction. It's good to be here. Thank you for joining all of us today. My name, again, is Chris Chernell. I'm the Deputy Director for Integrated Watershed Management at the California Department of Water Resources. It's great to be here today to celebrate our partnership with the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power through the Go Golden initiative to save water and fund improvements to make LA communities like this one more climate resilient. As we know, the effects of climate change continue to impact our state, and the Department of Water Resources is responding by delivering grant funding to our communities who need it most, especially those who've been historically underserved. With help from our Urban Community Drought Relief Program, $19 million in state funds will be invested back into Los Angeles underserved communities, including $14.6 million for a direct installation program that you've heard a little bit about already today. This program will directly pay to transform local yards into beautiful, drought-tolerant gardens, such as the one you see behind us here. For DWR, we recognize that climate change is not a burden equally carried, and we're proud to help accelerate and support local projects that give our communities the resources they need. To us, each local investment will make an important piece of a larger puzzle as we collectively work to ensure the long-term resilience of our water supplies. That's why partnerships with local water managers like the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power are so important. We are proud to help expand and accelerate DWP's efforts to conserve water, support its customers, and showcase that climate investments are also community investments. Thank you to our partners at LADWP, and thank you Mayor Bass and Councilman McCosker for your partnership. Now I'd like to turn it over to Mike Gradix and Reina Rodriguez, the homeowners of this beautiful property. Thank you.
Well, Reina and I would like to take this opportunity to thank everybody for coming this morning. And we're so proud to be able to host our beautiful landscape yard. And I'll let Reina share a little bit about how we got involved.
Well, we started with the program for the owners to do the conversion from lawn to the yard conversion, and then we were selected to host. And then we just basically put it out there, come with a design, and this is it. A year and a half later, this is what you have, from the sod to this gorgeous, beautiful lawn that attracts the pollinators, and all the native plants are happy to be here with us. So we're very happy that you are here with us promoting this wonderful program. Thank you.
Yes, we're just humble, ordinary people like yourselves, and all we're trying to do is help with our contribution to conserve water. Realizing what the state and the whole Southwest is going through, we think it's vitally important to do our part, and so this is part of it, and we're glad to share it with everybody.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you for being here.
Well said. Thank you. Good job.
Next, I would like to bring up the person who is probably most singularly focused on serving those in LA who are most in need, and has really highlighted and really focused the Department of Water and Power on finding ways to reach out to communities who need the most assistance, people who are maybe not able to access our programs as easily as others. And this grant exemplifies the result of that effort and her leaning in, and that's our board president, Cynthia McLean-Hill.
Thank you, Marty. As he says, I'm Cynthia McLean-Hill, president of the LADWP Board of Commissioners, and I am so excited to be here today in the Great 1-5. I want to both acknowledge and say how much we appreciate the leadership of our mayor and of Councilmember McCosker. It is the vision of the city and our elected leaders that we operate in a way that leaves no one behind, and that recognizes that we confront all of our challenges one person at a time and together. I am very grateful for and want to thank and acknowledge the partnership of the state as it relates to these funds, and to really lift up the hard work and the persistence of our customers. The year and a half that they described included their hosting community workshops in order to share this experience with others. They're not only investing in and showcasing what a beautiful front yard can look like, but they're actual influencers and part of this grand partnership that will create the transition that we need to a more adaptable city in Los Angeles. I just want to take a minute, though, to say to acknowledge Terrence McCarthy. It's Terrence who's sitting in his office looking at grants that were available and being made available by the state, and connecting his work to the work of this board, the work of the city, the work of this department, and the ability to actually do something for our customers who previously weren't able to participate in our turf rebate programs. He is the person that brings us here today in the most tangible way. And I want to point out our representative from Scope, Augustine, to just underscore the degree to which this is an effort that is joined by everyone, by our local CBOs, by our city leadership, by our department and our department leadership. We are committed to confronting our challenges, be they water, climate adaptability, whatever is before us, together. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. And last and certainly not least, I'd like to bring from the State Water Resources Control Board, the Chief Deputy Director, Jonathan Bishop. Jonathan has been a longtime partner in not only our water conservation programs, he's also our regulator. He's the one whose agency ensures that the water quality that you drink meets all the standards day in and day out, every second of every day. Jonathan, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marty. It's a pleasure to be here. As Marty said, I'm Jonathan Bishop, Chief Deputy Director at the State Water Resource Control Board. I'm really glad to be able to come down and be here. This is important to me. I spent 23 years in Los Angeles protecting the water quality here in Los Angeles before I went to Sacramento, so it's nice to be back. And I'm also a resident of Council District 15, and so it's all good for me. This opportunity is really fortuitous. Yesterday, the State Water Resource Control Board spent all day in a workshop on making conservation a way of life and looking at ways that we can continue to conserve in urban areas. And it was pretty clear to me yesterday that one of the areas that that we're going to have to move forward on is outdoor irrigation, and these kind of projects which change lawns to native plants, reduce the amount of fertilize, the amount of irrigation, is part of what we need. A year ago, our Governor Newsom announced preparing for a hotter, drier California, and we're looking at a 10% reduction in water supply by 2040. State Water Resource Control Board and the Department of Water Resources are working hard to identify everywhere that we can reduce water use and increase supply. And this is part of that program. And with that, I want to thank you all for having me here. It's such a pleasure.
Thank you, Jonathan. And I'd like to, again, thank all of our very special speakers today to help celebrate this very important occasion and really a step forward for the city of Los Angeles.